Some of the best repairs happen out of the blue. And that is exactly how this went down. It so seems that the very day that I got the car back from having the windshield resealed, I came back and we had to mow. So I parked across the street because to run the mower here, even though it doesn't look like there's much grass, and there certainly isn't under the car, it needed to be done anyways. So I put it there temporarily, we got the mower out, we got started, and as soon as we were done with this strip over here, I put the car back in. But unfortunately, before I could even get started mowing, some guy pulls up alongside me. I just shut the engine off, didn't even get out of the car yet. And this guy pulls up alongside and says, "That a 67? I said, "Yeah." And he fucking pulls ahead and pulls over and parks and gets out of the car, and we end up shooting the shit for like a half hour. So it turns out I never got his name, he never got my name. He said, I just been, you know, I drive by this way all the time and I see the car and I think it's awesome. I have a 49 Cadillac with a stuck engine in it and I'm working on it, and my son is away at college and he's supposed to be helping me, so when he graduates in 2 years, and yeah, it's shooting the shit for a while. And we're just talking about various items and things like that, and I had mentioned, just out of nowhere, that there were a lot of electrical gremlins in this car. One of which is the blower motor isn't working. And he says, well, where is it? And for some reason, I was under the impression that I would find it within this box here. So there's a couple of bolts here, and God only knows what else, and that was that. So I said, yeah, I mean, one day, maybe I'll look into it. And the guy says, no, that's not where the blower is, it's right here. It was hiding in plain sight. Do you see it? It's right here. This is it. And down here, I know the lighting isn't good, we're losing daylight quick, but there's the back of the motor. That's the motor, and in here would be the little squirrel cage thing that spins. And it also so turns out that although I had noticed this, I couldn't find anywhere for it to go. You see this black wire? That was just hanging here, and it had what looked like a factory connector on it for like a spade terminal. So the more I looked at this, I said, oh, here's a wire here. That obviously goes to ground, and that is connected to the motor, because where else is it going? Could that possibly be the power wire for it? So anyway, that was like last week. It's now, oh, I don't know, 5 days later or something like that. And I'm waiting on something else to occur for another video, so I can continue with that. And I said, oh, let me putz around. It's getting, you know, I mean, it's getting dark, but I still got time. So I came out to putz around. And I said, I just want to feel if there is a terminal on the back of the motor. Like maybe there used to be one and it snapped off or something. I don't know. So anyway, I, you know, put some gloves on and went in there. And lo and behold, I felt a terminal sticking out. But I said, you know what? I don't want to just plug it in there first. I want to test it. So I got my little 12-volt test light. And I hooked the alligator clip up to ground, which I actually just used the AC compressor right here because that is ground and probably the least corroded area here. So I just clamped it on that and jammed the probe in that connector at the end of that black wire. And I went in and turned the key on and moved the blower switch, and the fucking light came on. And I shut it and it went off. It was beautiful. So I said, well, if it could run that, that means the fuse is good. And, you know, power is going to it, at least somewhat. So I guess it won't hurt to hook it up. I mean, worst case, it'll blow its fuse under the dashboard and that'll be that. So I went and plugged it in and turned it on, and lo and behold, it works. Turn the key to the run position. The fan control is right over here. A little bit noisy, but it runs. And it'll even go, it's got, like, the switch doesn't feel right. If I move it here, it's low, but if I move it back, then it goes faster, and then slower. That's off, and there's another speed in here. Seems to be kind of a medium. See, and then it slows down, and then it'll go to high there. I don't know why it was low before, but this switch is tough to move, but it does work. Unfortunately, it really doesn't buy me much. Story of my fucking life, right? You know, set to warm, you know, defrost, everything, no matter where you have it. You know, AC obviously doesn't work, vent or heater, anything, no matter which way you turn the controls, the air just comes out of the defrost vents here. Now, these are engine vacuum operated. So yes, I did have the engine running, still no change. I knew about that. So there was still no change with that. And I do also know that vacuum lines are in bad shape on this car. Right up under the dashboard on the passenger side, kind of up in there on the side wall, there's some sort of actuator for the HVAC system, which we didn't call it in 67, but there's some sort of actuator there, and I don't even know if the line is on it or not. There are probably other ones under the dash. There was another vacuum line here that was in bad shape, and it's on this little diaphragm thingy off of the distributor. I don't know what its function for. I would think to be like a vacuum advance retard for the timing or something, but I'm not certain. And the end of that was split, so I just lopped it off and stuck that back on, so I repaired that. There's another actuator, that round thing there, that does have a line connected. Don't know if that's cracked or not. Back over here, this thing, since I got it, has just been hanging here, so I have no idea where the hell that connects to. I'm sure it's around somewhere. It really, everything falls not too far from where it belongs. So I don't even know what that's connected to. It looks like it just sort of runs down and into the car. So I'm not really sure what that one's for. It looks like that actually may have been a repair. You see how the hose gets thicker right there and then goes in, so maybe they just use that to splice in. I don't know for sure. But so I still don't get heat, and I don't get anything other than the windshield defrost, but it's at least a step, and it was right there the whole time, hiding in plain sight. Why the fuck that was disconnected, I have no idea. I can't understand it, because why would you go and disconnect that fucking thing if all you have to do is just leave the switch off in the car? Doesn't make any sense. You just leave it off in the car and don't use it. It only works for the windshield, and it's cold anyway, it doesn't do a damn. Okay, unplug it, that's it. Or rather, shut it off, that's it. Why unplug it and leave the wire hanging and put me through all this shit, Sal? Why would you do that? Alright, anyway. Sal's not watching because he doesn't know about this kind. There was nothing wrong with it. I have no idea if it's actually original to the car or not, but it does run. It's a little noisy because it hasn't run in fuck knows how many years. At least one, probably not a lot more. So slowly but slowly, things are happening, and it all came as a result of my talking to that guy who randomly showed up one day. He pointed it out to me right there. I couldn't see it in plain sight, and then we saw the wire which I had seen before but didn't think anything of it. If there's any detail in your life that you happen to notice and you say, oh, well, that won't matter, that doesn't, it matters. Keep a close eye on that detail because it's going to come back to haunt you. And here it was, right here. So that wire was hanging there. Like I said, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I hooked it up and it runs. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.